Hello and welcome to Dateline New Haven on WNHH FM, New Haven's home for community radio. I'm Paul Bass, inviting you to look behind the headlines and the stories that make our city tick. And there's a really interesting guy you're going to meet today who's making New Haven tick. He was born here, he's had a whole career here, and now he's found a way to satisfy the longings that people have when they're no longer here. For New Haven pizza, cannolis from Lucibello's, Fox and Park Soda, Lamberti Hot Chicken, Hummel's Hot Dogs. Steve Thomas has started a newish company called New Haven Direct Connect, and he's shipping New Haven's delicacies all over the country. Steve, welcome to the WNHH Dateline, and thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me, Paul.
So how's that going? It was 18 months now you had this business?
Yeah, we've been in business about 18 months, and it's going well. We're growing every single month. And,
I'm asking to get a little close to the mic when you talk.
Sure, we're growing every single month, and it's going well. And every holiday we go through, we learn a little bit more about how to perfect the business, and we're doing well.
So holiday's the big thing.
Yeah, we're very holiday centric, especially Christmas and Easter.
As I can imagine with the pastries. And I always wonder, like I know that people sometimes order direct from, let's say, Granda Pizza. Is pizza any good when it arrives in Sacramento?
Well, it's not exactly like when it comes out of the oven in the restaurant, but it is really good. I mean, our pizza, Granda Beats, does a par-baked and then flash frozen and vacuum sealed pizza for us. They're two 12-inch pies that we sell, and they're not like grocery store pizza. So it's got the New Haven char, it's irregular, it's got the bubbles in it. You know, everything we love about our pizza here is what Granda Beats has, and we bring that to you.
And Grand is now the North Haven one, right?
The one that we work with, they're on the shoreline with the original Nuzzo family.
Oh, is that Madison?
Madison, Guilford, and Clinton,
I've seen that.
I think.
Oh,
yeah.
They have three?
Yeah, they have three of them. Yep.
Oh, wow. So they've done pretty well.
Yeah. And I actually graduated high school with Mike Nuzzo, so it's nice that we're doing business together after all these years. Way back when.
So how many New Haven delicacies are you shipping?
We've got 14 partners altogether, and we did about almost 1,300 orders last year. So we average a little bit more than 100 a month. Like I said, it is. We get just buried at Christmas time. We'll get buried again at Easter time. We have a nice little bump for Father's Day, and then there's seasonal items too, because people are always celebrating different things. Whether it's barbecue season, we do a lot of hot dogs and sausage, of course, in the summer when it's grilling time. And, the Easter specialty items are huge for us because they're only available at a certain time of year, and they're only available for a few weeks when they are available.
Mm-hmm. So what are the 14? We got Fox and Park Soda, Hummel's Hot Dogs, Granda Beats, Lamberti Hot Chicken Sausage Links, Lucibello's Pastries.
Yeah. We have Apicella's Bakery. We have Pedonito's Bakery. We work with Claire's Cornucopia. So Claire's, we sell their Lithuanian coffee cakes.
I was going to say, is that the one that people order?
Yeah, that's probably the favorites. Liuzzi Cheese, Durani's Pasta. We sell Blackie's Relish, hot pepper relish from Cheshire.
Okay.
And I was trying to count on my fingers. I'm trying to think if there's anybody that I forgot. We talked about Granda Beats already.
So how do people find out about this? You're on the web. You have a career in marketing. We'll get to that.
Yep.
How do you let people know? Like for now, they would just call Modern if they want to go direct, right? Or how do they know to find you? Do you show up on Facebook ads, Instagram? Yeah,
so we do paid digital advertising in the markets where our customers are living now. So that would be primarily Florida, the Carolinas, Georgia, a little bit in Tennessee, a little bit in Texas. Believe it or not, there's a pocket of New Haveners in Las Vegas. And we also have an email database of almost 3,000 addresses that we've built over time.
And how'd you get that?
Just from people ordering from us, or people going on the website and clicking that they want to opt in. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And then also, I belong to about, probably 150 community pages, and we do a lot of organic posting there where, we comment on other things that are happening with food in those markets. And then we also put our own posts up to encourage people when they want a change of pace. And you live in Denver, if you want to try real New Haven pizza, you can order from us. So we do that also.
Oh, that's so interesting. And so what about organic search? Does that work for you?
It does, yeah. And
you have to keep up with how their algorithms change, right?
Yeah, and I have an agency that handles a lot of the PPC and the
what's PPC?
Pay-per-click So paid search, and in addition to people just typing in our website name, we do Google ads in addition to paid Facebook and paid
So you're all
Instagram.
over the place. That's how you get it.
We are, and I have specialists that do that for me. I'm not a true expert on that stuff, so I don't do it. And then the second target we have is actually the relatives of people that have moved away that still live here in Connecticut. So we want to be in front of those folks too, because when it comes to be Mother's Day or something and they want to send a gift down, we want them to know that they can find us easily. And then,
so in other words, if my daughter does live in Oakland and I'm thinking she misses the pizza, I could send her the pizza.
Absolutely, yeah. So both sides of that gifting equation, we want to be in front of both of them. And then the other thing I was going to mention is we also deliver locally. So, and it's very inexpensive to do that. Yeah. So we've really done a good job at building our tri-state and New England customer base over the last 6 months.
Other states.
And in Connecticut too. So, if you live in Litchfield and it's too far to drive to go to New Haven to get Lucibello's pastry, we'll just deliver to Litchfield for you.
Okay. Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
And now, are there other, Steve, are there other companies like this in other states or other fields that you used as a model?
Not for this. There's a macro version of what I do, which is called Gold Belly. And we're a narrower, deeper version of what they do. So Gold Belly is a huge conglomerate, and what they do is they come in and they cherry pick maybe the 2 or 3 most popular things that a particular geography is known for. So New Orleans, they'll sell muffaletta sandwiches from Central Market and maybe jambalaya from somewhere, right?
No beignets.
Yeah, and then in Connecticut, they'll say they have actually Sally's. They sell Sally's pizza, but you can't get pizza and pastry and sausage and hot dogs. So the difference between my model and theirs is you can build out a New Haven grocery basket with us, and we ship it all in the same box.
There you go. And that's Steve Thomas, New Haven Direct Connect. This is business 18 months old and humming, where we get artisan foods from New Haven brands and send to people all over the country as well as within the state. How'd you get the idea to do this? So we on the ferry said, what high school was it you went to with?
I went to Notre Dame West Haven.
And so you grew up on the east side, New Haven.
Yep.
You had sounds like a very successful lifelong career in marketing.
Yeah.
You worked for Subway with franchisees. You worked with Edible Arrangements. You worked in a lot of other companies, and you dealt with people who are now you,
right?
Which is the entrepreneur. What made you decide at 63 years old or 62 to become an entrepreneur and do this specifically?
Well, the latter part of my corporate career was sprinkled with shorter stints at the companies I was with. So I was in for 2 years, and then I was having a separation, and I'd be, when you're head of marketing, you don't get a job really quickly. You're out for 6 months while you're engaged in a job search. So I was doing a bunch of different things, and I was a member of a bunch of different Facebook groups. And I kept seeing these posts from people who had moved away, and they were just so sad about the fact that they couldn't get the food that they grew up with and they loved anymore. There's no good pizza in South Carolina. I miss my Lucibellos, and there were other stories. I've told this one often of people smuggling stuff back with them. So one lady got pulled out of the line by the TSA because she had hot dogs in her luggage and they thought it was dynamite. So
I got pulled out to CA
story.
when I went to Detroit because they had this great combination scotch and bourbon, but it was too big and it's like
too big liquid.
Yeah.
So these people were trying to do whatever they could do. So I put a post up and I said, if there were a business that shopped for this for you and shipped it down to you, would you use it?
When was this?
It was about maybe 5 years ago. I put it on the Worcester Street page, a couple of those, and the response was overwhelming, Paul. I mean, people were like, "Oh my God, you have to do this! You have to do this!"
And what gigs were you in between?
I think I was in between when I was at Edible the second time, and before I went to work for a company in Atlanta called Global Franchise Group. So a couple of head of marketing jobs. I had 6 months between those, and this is about the time that I started the idea, sparked.
So as I understand it, you would work on it a while. You get a new job and you have time to work on it, but you never lost the idea.
That's
you
correct.
started finding people who were interested here.
Yeah. And, some of my charter partners who I approached first would be like, Eric Hummel. I talked to him, and Peter over at Lucibello's. And, my explanation to them was like, it's going to be easy for you. I don't want this to be work for you. We should both make money off of it, but, you don't have to deliver to me. I'll come and pick up. Your pricing to me, your wholesale pricing needs to be fair to you, and it needs to be fair to me, so that I can sell it for a price where people are not like blown away. And it worked out. They saw the light, and it's interesting. The big point is that in most cases, this is found business for my partners, because they had no solution to get products to those people who want it, who don't live here any longer. So they loved the idea.
And then how come Sally's and Pepe's aren't on?
Pepe's is franchising, so they're not really interested in a model which would compete with their franchisees around the country. And Sally's is locked up, I believe, in an exclusive with Goldbelly, that other company. They don't allow you to work with others.
You know what's interesting to me, Steve, when I look at your list, is how much cool stuff is made here.
Yeah, right.
It really is a great place to eat.
Yeah. The other thing, Paul, if you notice, those companies are 50, 60, 70 years in the business, family owned, truly artisan product, that's really high quality. We all know and love it, but it doesn't take too much to convince somebody from Brooklyn who's living in Florida right now and can't find good Italian food that New Haven food is just as good as what they know.
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
So you decided to go into business. How did you get the startup cash, or did you have savings? You just went from scratch. You must need some startup capital.
It's totally bootstrapped. Yeah, I mean, I started it while I was on severance, actually, so we had a little bit of runway there. And then I eventually took a business loan because I wanted to accelerate the growth path that we were experiencing.
So how much were you able to get for startup capital?
Not a ton of money, maybe $15,000.
That's all it took to start shipping stuff?
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, I called in a few favors too. So the website was built for much less than market price, because those are old friends of mine from Edible Arrangements that built out my website and
good
put
website.
together the marketing plan.
I
Thank
like
you.
it.
And then I also got a grant from the NHE3 incubator. So
what's NHE3? New Haven Empowerment Enterprise?
Yep. And I applied for a grant through those folks, and they had a lot of questions for me, and they really liked what I was doing. And I got the grant I think it was March, and that went right into equipment and accelerated marketing.
And the equipment you need is what?
I have commercial refrigerators, commercial freezers, things like freight scales, things like that. Areas to hold like my shipping equipment. We don't hold inventory, because my model is I shop on Mondays, we turn the product right around, and we ship out on Tuesdays. And most people get their packages by Thursday. So we don't hold inventory. But while we do have it, those overnights, we need to be able to keep it cold and fresh. So we have a freezer and a refrigerator.
How much did NHE3 give you?
$5,000.
All right. So that goes along. Isn't it interesting how those loans can get someone who has the experience and the idea? What a difference that can make.
Yeah. Yeah.
To scale up with just 5K, because I'm always skeptical about this 5K grants.
Yeah.
Like, how much you going to do with that? But it sounds like you were rolling. Like, I just need those fridges and that marketing, and we're going.
Yeah, it allowed me to pretty much double my marketing budget at a critical time. And we did like 225 orders last year, which was right after I got that money, around the 3 weeks around Easter. And that was the biggest period we had. Now, this year, we did, across the Christmas period, we did about 200 orders. But last year, Christmas was half the size of Easter. So I'm assuming Easter is going to be very busy for us this year when we get there.
All right. So how many people do you have working for you?
It's just me right now.
But you have these people you hire, like the marketing and...
Yeah.
So you shop on Monday, you ship on Tuesday.
Yeah.
But you have a location, correct, with all these fridges and stuff?
We do. So it's essentially it's a home-based business right now. It's built. My garage is built out into a fully, it's a full commercial operation in what was my garage. It's not really my garage anymore. But we've got all the refrigerators and freezers are there. We do all the shipping out of there. I store all of my shipping inventory there. And stuff comes in and stuff goes out. And it's an interesting story, because I was looking for commercial real estate, but I walked away from 2 leases because I couldn't get a landlord to agree. I needed 3 things. I needed fast action and quick resolution if we had a pest issue, an insect issue, or a water issue, because all 3 of those could be fatal.
That's experience talking. That wouldn't occur to me if I haven't been in the business. How did you know to think about that?
I think through my time in food service, even though I was a marketing person, I was always close enough to operations.
So you were aware of situations where a pest problem, if it wasn't resolved fast, would quickly
brand damage.
Bring up brand damage.
Yeah. Brand damage. Absolutely. I mean, that's how a marketing person comes at it, but that's where marketing has to work closely with operations. If God forbid, a video ever showed up on a social media platform of
You're
roaches running around in one of the
And
locations.
then if you get a
of my brands.
competitor who will then spread that on all the comments,
Yeah.
well, that's a little fierce out there.
Yeah.
But you have a marketing firm working for you.
I do. I have a small agency. They're based in Northford, and they do my digital marketing work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they manage all of that. We also do. We have a platform where after you buy from us, about a month later, you're going to get a contact, and we're going to ask you how it was. And if you rate us 4 or 5 stars, we're going to ask you if you wouldn't mind leaving a Google review or a Facebook
Now, who does
review.
that? That's what
same
the firm
company.
does?
Yeah, same company.
And what are your days like? On Monday, you're shopping.
Yep.
On Tuesday, you're shipping.
Right.
And how do you do the shipping?
So shipping UPS, primarily 2-day, but not exclusively. We do a little bit of ground if it can get where it has to go by ground within 2 days. We use ground also.
So do you have a truck that you drive all your, like you do your packages in your former garage, and then do you drive to the UPS store?
No, I have a pickup that comes every week. Yeah, so they come to me. But we drive around on Mondays, and I have a set time where I'm at Durante's Pasta, and then I'm at Lamberti's, and then I'm at Hummel, so they all know that I'm showing up. I send my orders out on Sunday, so Sunday's a paperwork day because we stop taking orders for the week on Saturday night at midnight. And then I drop the reports, send out my purchase orders on Sunday, go shop on Monday, pack out on Tuesday. Wednesday is generally spent on marketing. So that's why I showed up here for the interview on the wrong day, Paul, because usually I do these on Wednesdays. I was here on the wrong day for this interview, everybody. But here I am again.
We're glad you got back twice as good.
So I do a lot of my marketing work on Wednesdays, go meet new partners, talk to them a little bit about what their business is all about. And then on Thursday and Friday, I do marketing consulting for another business.
Oh.
So I supplement my...
So do you have a day where you don't work?
Saturday, kind of.
Do you feel like you weren't working 6 days? That's the deal. You're an entrepreneur.
I'm an entrepreneur. I work when I want to work, but there are certain times when I have to be working. Like I have to work on Sundays because I have to get my orders out. Otherwise, I won't.
And you have to work Monday, Tuesday.
Monday and Tuesday. Yeah.
So you so that's what I was wondering about Station Life. I'm talking to Steve Thomas, who started New Haven Direct Connect, which is shipping New Haven pizza, chicken, sausage, soda, pastries all over the country. What made you want to do this in your 60s? What made you want to step into the busier, more pressured world of being an entrepreneur? What lured you to that? And are you glad you did it?
Yeah, I think I had become weary of the corporate world, and I had a couple of separations that were really head scratchers, and so after a few of those, I was kind of like, you know what, I'm kind of done with that. I want to try doing something where I work as hard as I want to work, and I work for me. So there's no one telling me that I have to do things, and I want to have full control over the destiny of this company.
And that's what's changed, right? Like the speed, we talked about technological change, also business model change, the speed at which companies respond to the dictates of short-term investor needs and private capital
and consumer needs.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to respond to consumers. If I get a bad review, I've got to be on top of it and know why.
That don't really have a commitment to you long term that might have when we were younger.
Yeah. Yes. There is.
That's out the window.
It's a different culture out there now. The days of 25, 30 years with a company you're going to retire with.
I tell younger people that if you have more entrepreneurial skills or ability to learn new things quickly, you are more geared to the modern economy. Whereas when you and I were coming up, people like us were kind of the oddballs, right? And if you're entrepreneurial, and then people went to work for a company for a career, and they took care of you.
Yeah, and one of the things that's interesting along those lines, Paul, is I'm a marketing person, but I always wanted to learn about operations. I wanted to have a good relationship with the CFO. I could hold my own having a financial conversation around modeling something. It might have been marketing related, but I felt like to be successful, you couldn't stay in your little box. You needed to branch out because you needed those people in some cases to help you be successful. But I also learned by osmosis from some of them, right? And it's helped me certainly in this role.
We're talking to Steve Thomas, New Haven Direct Connect. And by the way, it's New Haven spelled out, newhavendirectconnect.com. And if that's confusing, it doesn't work, just Google New Haven Direct Connect. Do you have are you breaking even yet?
Yeah. We've just gone to a fixed rate shipping model, and that really increased our volume.
What does that mean?
So up until about January,
everything you
you
ordered.
wouldn't know how much your shipping cost was until you got to your shopping cart, because it was all calculated on how much weight it was. People did not like that. I knew it too. So we surveyed our customers, and they said, we really like to see something where we know how much shipping is before we do all our shopping. Because, think of it, if you spend 20 minutes shopping and then you find out shipping to California is
That makes me pissed off.
$85,
That pisses me off.
You're out. So now shipping starts at $19.99 for the East Coast. It goes to $29.39 and $49 from east to west.
Even if it's a huge order.
So
you'll take a loss on some of them because it'll average out.
Yeah. Because it will average out. And I couldn't do it, though, until I had enough data from being in business for a year to be able to calculate, like, where those numbers needed to be.
It's so interesting.
It takes time.
You sound like a person who's just in it and enjoying learning at every step.
Yeah, I am. Especially, believe it or not, especially the non-marketing aspects, because they're different.
Yeah. And when did you break even?
I would say around Christmas.
Christmas.
Yeah. And then the phenomenon that has happened is we hit our first milestone in the non-Christmas weeks following Christmas, Paul. So in the weeks during January and so far in February, we're averaging over 30 orders a week, which is, my next milestone was 25. So now we're at 30. That's a really good average everyday non-holiday number
break
to be
even at.
Yeah.
Do you have expansion goals? Like, what do you have a target of how many brands you want? Are you looking to expand to have people working for you?
I'm definitely looking for both of those. So more brands if it fits. So I protect my charter partners. So you asked about Pepe's and Sally's. Grand Up Eats is my pizza partner. I won't have another pizza partner. We have 4 bakery partners, but everybody does a different thing. So and we will eventually hire people as I get bigger. So if that 30 orders goes to 50 orders, I'll probably have to hire a driver to go do the shopping for me on Mondays.
Any goals for number of partners? I get the idea that the quality matters more than the quantity.
Yeah.
Rather than getting to 50, it's having
I think
products for
I think that the more things you have to service people, the better off we'll be, because there's more solutions there. So, for example, we only have one of my partners that has kosher items is Claire's. So, I could see working with a kosher partner at some point where we can branch out those items.
Edge of the Woods raspberry chocolate chip cookies, vegan. I have had to bring a box to Chicago, and I bring the challah and the cookies to Massachusetts. The people who grew up in New Haven who are kosher.
Yeah.
Miss those so much.
Okay. Yep.
Peter Dodge.
Conversation. Good.
Steve Thomas, I got inspired talking today. I think it's great you started New Haven Direct Connect. I am so psyched that people all over the country, if you live here, you want to send your loved ones the food. I won't have to travel to Chicago if you do that. Or if you've left New Haven and you just want a taste of what you left behind, NewHavenDirectConnect.com. You're going to be able to order from Fox and Park Soda to Grand Up Eats to Hummel's Hot Dogs and everything in between. Keep it up, Steve.
Thanks for having me on, Paul.
I want to have you
so
back
much.
in a year and a half and hear about how much you've grown.
All right, sounds good.
All right, thanks Harry Drost for working the controls. We're going to take it out with the Afro-Semitic Experience performing I Wish I Knew How It Feel to Be Free from the group CD A Plea for Peace. This is Paul Bass inviting you to fly free with us all day and all night long at WNHH, New Haven's home for community radio.